Michael Irvin. As always, we start the show with a little smile, a little chuckle, a little laugh, a little fun at the expense of one of the four of us.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Steve, today it's your time.
Nice. What do we have?
Yes. Because our friend Frank Caliendo, he's got a bit. I think he might have actually hatched it when he came on my show. Yeah. He calls it mooch hands. You'd like to use your hands when you talk. Roll tape.
Let's go.
On this network, I watch Steve Mariucci. And you don't even have to have the voice all the time. You just have to have the mooch hands.
Yeah.
I talk about it with Rich Eisen all the time. He's basically Chris Farley. He starts going, you got to take it. We're going to get going to effect. It's going this way. You're not even following the play. What are you doing? My hands have just taken over. I'm not sure where we're going. Kurt's doing a sermon over here. Everything's coming around. We're trying to figure out Michael Irvin he's wiped about 2 pounds of sweat. I didn't even know sweat could go in pounds. I didn't know what happened. I'm supposed to be doing a character here right now, but it just left me.
Crazy, man. That guy's crazy. Frank, what's the matter with you?
What's funny dude?
Yeah.
It's funny, you're not even moving your hands right now.
That's a great job.
Right now, they're stuck on the table, but I'll be moving them soon.
That's certainly Mooch's Minute and stuff like that later on. And we're going to have a fun game night later on. But as always, we start our game day morning. This one in particular, with it being week 14, Steve, tons of Sunday storylines. What do you have for me today?
Yeah, I don't have a storyline. I have a question mark.
Okay.
A question. May I ask this? Will this be the passing of the torch in New England today? What do I mean by that? Patrick Mahomes, if he can play like this MVP Patrick Mahomes and beat Tom Brady and the Patriots, guess what, guys? He will be the third quarterback, age 24 or younger, to beat the great Tom Brady. And it's not going to be easy, but Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson and maybe Patrick Mahomes, these young kids, are getting the torch passed or changing of the guards. Call it what you want, Rich. Could happen.
Call it what you want, Rich. Last week, Michael said Tom Brady was old. This week, you're saying Tom Brady is old. I'm calling it what it is. That's what you're saying. I get it, Mooch. For me, I am going the battle. Well, you know that happened.
We'll just have to wait to your breakdown.
Right. Rich, that's what I was laughing about.
I was at the meeting and I have the rundown right here.
Right now, I am going the battle of the big dogs in the Big Easy. I'm going with San Francisco against the New Orleans Saints. This could quite possibly be for the #1 seed in the NFC when it all said and done. And I just love the matchups within the game here. We've got the run offense of the San Francisco 49ers against that great rush defense. You've got that pass rush against the really good O-line, although beat up for the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, how does that secondary, so many great storylines within this game. And then there's the overriding, how does this play into the NFC playoff picture? Great game today. I can't wait to watch that one.
Yeah, that's funny, calling Tom old. But I'm going to hang out around there. I'm going to hang out in that area for a minute.
You did it.
Moose did it. Yeah. Right. I'm going to hang out in that area because this game right here, the Buffalo Bills and the Ravens, first of all, those people at New Era Field, they're going to go crazy today in Buffalo. To have a game of this magnitude with all that's on the line in that game. Of course, the Ravens are trying to get home field advantage throughout. But Buffalo can still win this division and still get home field and play some playoff games right there. And it has been incredible and an incredible long time for Buffalo to be in this position at this time here in week 14. Man, it's an insane game. And I tell you this now, you will not win a Super Bowl without passing every grade in the NFL. And Buffalo, you failed the first time when you played New England. Even though they passed last week when they beat the Cowboys, they will finally be the winning team. This is another opportunity to say we belong in the top of the AFC.
Well, and again, if they beat the Ravens today, they'd have a tiebreak over the Ravens if they can cash it in by winning the division. They'd have to win the division in order to be obviously in the spot for a bye week. And then there's tonight's game between Seattle and the Rams. There's later on today between the Titans and the Raiders. There are a lot of big games, but of course, it's still not too early for us to jack around with you later on, Michael, to talk about the Thursday night game.
Well, can I cry along? Can I just say this? I would never have imagined that Buffalo would be in this position before the Cowboys get in this position. But they are.
Don't get him going
Again,
this early
it's not
in the
too
show.
It's not too early for us to jack around, to use a phrase that I heard on the radio today. Let's go to Steve Weich down in the old Big Easy. Steve, take it away. Kick us off.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Rich. Well, Kurt just amplified the conversation, and that's the Saints stopping the 49ers run game. When I asked Saints players this week, what about Jimmy Garoppolo? And they said, hey, we've got to stop him. He's got a lot of weapons, but again, the key is for us to stop the run game. But to note, coming off of last week's loss against Baltimore in 22 starts, Jimmy G has never lost back-to-back games. And now Lieutenant to Mike Giardi in Foxborough for more on the Chiefs and Pats.
Thank you, Steve. The last 3 times Bill Belichick's Patriots have played Andy Reid's Chiefs, they've given up 42, 40, and 31 points. And even though they won 2 of those games, that just won't do for Bill Belichick. So how do you beat that? You start working on the Chiefs offense way back in May. That's right. One player told me, look, we don't want to be there that early in the season. Spices things up a little bit. We work on basic concepts, and we feel better going into this week. Let's go to Orchard Park now and Kim Jones.
Well, thanks so much, Mike. You know, we've got a little bit of wind today. We will watch that here in Orchard Park. Ed Oliver, when he was in college, had a game against Louisville and Lamar Jackson where he sacked Lamar 2 times. I asked Oliver about that on Friday. He said, I know what he can do in space. We have to contain him. Let's go to James Palmer. No wind in Houston.
Well, thanks, Kim. We know how dynamic this Texans offense can be when Will Fuller is on the field. The problem is he's not on it again. I'm told the expectation is he will be out with a hamstring injury. Over to the Broncos, and their best player, Vaughn Miller, had an MCL sprain, missed last week. He is a game-time decision. He'll test it out pregame, but he did tell me this week he expects to play. Now let's go to Tom Pelissero in Green Bay.
James, we could get winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour as the Packers host a Redskins team that's won 2 in a row with rookie Dwayne Haskins at quarterback. Haskins told me, I'm going into Lambeau Field with respect for the atmosphere, respect for the other team, and knowing we have to play almost a perfect game to beat them. Here's Randy Moss in Minneapolis.
Well, Tom, Lions rookie quarterback David Blau will make just his 2nd NFL start against a Mike Zimmer defense in this raucous environment. But he has an asset in Matthew Stafford, who will miss a 5th straight game with a back injury. Stafford says, I prefer the view from behind the O-line, but as long as I'm on the sidelines, I'll help Blau in any way I can. Let's check in with Ian Rappaport.
Thanks, Randy. Odell Beckham, the Brown star receiver, is going to play today. He has not missed a game all season, but he has been battling. Sources say Odell Beckham has a painful sports hernia injury and actually has had that since training camp. This is one reason why he's been extremely limited in practice and one explanation for why Baker Mayfield and Odell have not always been on the same page. I am told Odell is going to have surgery to correct this in the offseason. Meanwhile, we know that the Rams have been resting Todd Gurley, limiting his carries severely this season. Here's what is going to happen now. I'm told the Rams are getting ready to treat Gurley like the bell cow that he is. Enough of the pitch count. They're going to use him extensively starting tonight. And listen to this, Rich. Based on practice metrics, sports science measures, Todd Gurley is as fast now as he was in week 1. It has worked.
Yeah, I mean, this week, McVay with the quote of the week, when they asked him, where did all these carries come from? He said, me not being an idiot, is what he said. Like, okay. Here we go. No James Conner, no T.Y. Hilton again, no Juju Smith-Schuster. Conner and Smith-Schuster Steelers are out in Arizona. The Colts are in Tampa. And Adam Thielen not expected to go today for the Vikings in a big, obviously, game for everybody. It's Week 14. Bills fans are all particularly fired up. As you point out, Irv, they usually haven't seen in a very long time a game of this magnitude, an opponent like this, an MVP candidate coming in. It's a big game for them. There's Mike Zimmer arriving for work today, hoping that his Vikings don't wait for it.
Way to dress up for the occasion, Coach.
Still to come, Tom Brady's receivers are really getting his goat these days.
Brady fires it out of the end zone, incomplete.
Kurt will explain why they're not on the same page. Plus,
Alvin Kamara, touchdown! Touchdown! Mike Thomas!
the Niners D faces off against Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas today. We'll tell you which playmaker is more important to stop. And Will the Bills cool off Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' red-hot offense in Buffalo? It's